Good afternoon, family. Thanks for checking out today's video. If you are new here, my name is Jonathan, and I created this channel as a way to record my progress as I work towards my goal of losing 300 pounds in 3 years. If you'd like to join the family, hit that subscribe button down below. Also, click on the bell icon so you get alerted when I go live or post new videos. If you'd like to participate on the discussion, you can join me most weekdays where I go live on YouTube around 4 p.m. Central Time, or outside of the live stream, you can consider joining the Discord I created. There's a link for that down in the description below. Also, down in the description below is a link to a Pinterest board. A lot of times people ask what kind of meals I'm eating to lose weight, and that's a great place to go check out a lot of our family's favorite whole food plant-based meals. Today is day 795 of my 3-year challenge to lose 300 pounds. I've used a combination of extended water fasting and a whole food plant-based salt, oil, sugar-free diet to lose over 235 pounds so far. I have just under 10 months left to go to reach my goal. I'm very excited about attaining that goal this year and spending the rest of my life at a healthy weight. If anybody has any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. If you have any non-scale victories, I'd love to hear about those. If you have any on-scale victories, it is weigh-in Wednesday, although I'm not weighing in this Wednesday. So I'd love to hear your on-scale victories. If you're struggling to stay on your diet, what's causing your struggles? If you're succeeding, what are you doing to succeed? At the end of the day, what are the things that you are doing to make staying on your diet easier than the alternative? So normally I switch over to the main screen, but I messed up the thing here for some reason. I was on this screen already. So hello everybody. Cindy, Plants Only Muncher, Rick, Pretty Girl's Mom, Shrinking Shadow, Our Tiny Acres, Carrie, Sarasota, Florida. Hello. Rick says here, he says he's binging on potatoes these days, had them tonight with brown gravy and mushrooms on them. Yes, I binged on some potatoes today as well. We'll get into that. Our Tiny Acre says that they've been on a hummus kick lately. It sounds delicious. Do not have a lot of hummus. Hello, Janet. How are you today? I'm going to go ahead, pull up the food photos since yesterday. We had a new recipe last night that I'm going to go over briefly. I had shown this photo from 2 days ago. Carrie was getting these beet burgers ready for us to eat, and so that's what we ended up having for dinner last night. I'm going to switch here. It looks a lot more appetizing in this photo than maybe in the previous photo there. But these were beet burgers that we put on a lettuce wrap with onions and red peppers on them. And I really liked these burgers. I probably enjoyed the flavors and the burgers overall more than the plant-based Gabriel burgers that we've been having. I don't know, effort wise, they seem like they probably take a little bit more to make than the plant-based Gabriel burgers, but they were delicious. I ended up having 3 of these last night, so I took photos, I think, of all of them here. And like, the amazing thing to me about this was the flavors that I got from the red peppers and the onions that were on top of it. That would not have been something where I in the past would have expected to get flavor from, or that been a highlight of the meal. Generally, the peppers and the onions were just kind of add-ons to most burgers before. But with this, I really could, I felt like the flavors really came through with it. These are baked. Rick's asking if they're fried or baked, but they're baked. And Our Tiny Acre says your doctor would love you eating beet burgers. Yes, they were very red, and they were delicious. They were really good. Carrie says that they were pretty easy. She had never cooked them. She never cooked with beets before, so everything was so red. Yes, everything got dyed red. Everything had red all over it. It definitely the pigment from the beets definitely takes over. But that was dinner yesterday. I'm not sure if that recipe is on the Pinterest board or not, but it's definitely a really good recipe, and I enjoyed it last night. Then this morning, not a very pretty photo of my oatmeal here at all, but this was the oatmeal this morning. And then for lunch here, and Carrie actually kind of made a comment. She says she was channeling Chef AJ today and had a pound of broccoli with her potatoes at lunch. We usually share a pound. Since she decided to eat the whole pound herself, I had to cook myself a whole pound of broccoli. So I ended up having 3 or 4 potatoes today with a whole bag of broccoli mixed into it. And it really, having the broccoli mixed in does make a difference. Carrie was giving me a little bit of a hard time because initially I was going to just eat the potatoes alone without any broccoli, and then I decided to cook a bag of broccoli up just to add some volume to it and make it a little bit more satisfying, a little bit better meal. Carrie says that the beet burgers are on the Pinterest board, so if you guys are looking for that recipe, you can find it on the Pinterest board. Our Tiny Acre says the beets definitely turn everything red, and they are very good for your anemia. Okay, that's awesome. Tennyson Yoga Girl, hello. I hope you had a great evening or have been doing well. So yeah, food for the last day has been great. My weight is up a little bit, but you know, when I'm weighing, I got this extra 10-pound brace on my arm, or maybe it's 20-pound brace now. So I'm just waiting for a little bit of the effects from the surgery and the medication. And also I was very sedentary for a couple days, and I think that might have an effect as well. But I do feel like I'm getting back to where I was, or you know, and really I feel amazing. Like the way my clothing has been feeling has been great, and just overall been feeling very positive about my health in general. Carrie is saying with those barbecue beet burgers that we had, that there is a barbecue sauce that we put on them, and the recipe for that barbecue sauce is also on the Pinterest board. It did not need a lot of the barbecue sauce. The first burger we had, we were pretty heavy handed with the barbecue sauce, but then after that, I didn't really need to, yes, 20 pounds. But yeah, I didn't weigh in, like do an official weigh in today. I'm very close to the same weight. I'm up probably a pound, I guess. And for just having surgery, that doesn't surprise me at all. And like I said, I'm hoping that by next week, I'm back to where I was. I need to be back to where I was by next week so that I can start making progress by the end of this month. Because I would like to see, you know, 6 to 8 pound weight loss this month would be huge, and it would definitely help. Was it fresh or canned beets? Carrie's gonna have to answer that question. I'm not sure. It's so the a non-scale victory that I had yesterday, and I talked about it a little bit on stream, but we had ordered some shirts for work, and one of the shirts that I had gotten or was ordered for me was a 2XL shirt, and I have not worn a 2XL shirt since I was in high school. So I was very nervous to try the shirt on to see if it would actually fit, or if I'd be comfortable in the shirt, because I generally like having my clothing to be loose, just kind of as a comfort thing, just from being overweight for all those years. I always liked having shirts that were more like tense, you know, Joe, it kind of going back to that red shirt I was wearing the other day. And so I tried the shirt on, and it fit, and you know, it's something where it's not like, again, at 500 pounds, if the shirt would have been that tight, I probably wouldn't wear it or consider wearing it. But at this weight, with the shirt being the, you know, as tight as it was, and it really wasn't that tight. And I probably could have stretched it out kind of to make it looser around my waist. But just amazing to be in that shirt and to see kind of how slimming it makes me look and feel. It was really nice to be able to wear that shirt. I definitely feel like if I had like compression clothing, like a tight shirt underneath, that it would fit no problem, and I wouldn't have any problem. And then let's see. Our Tiny Acre says, congratulations on wearing a smaller size. Cindy says, yay for the shirt that fits. Yes, a shirt that fits. And then Pretty Girl's mom's asking, how long do I have to have the brace? So the brace has got to be on. My arm is locked in at like a 90-degree angle for the next like 3 weeks. And then after that, they'll start opening it up so I can get a range of motion with my arm. I believe that I will have the brace for about 3 months, that they'll want me to have the brace on. If my rehab from last time is any indication, I should be able to get it off sooner than that. But I can live with it, I suppose. Christy says, I'm late. Hi, everyone. Hi, Christy. Our Tiny Acre says here that your husband got you 2 shirts that you like in 2 smaller sizes, and you actually fit in the large one he got you, even though they were even bigger ones that, even though that they are made, even the bigger ones still fit. That's awesome that you were able to get into a shirt that was smaller than you expected to. The Shrinking Shadow says that you decided that 2023 is the year you lose 100 pounds. Thanks for your channel and being such an inspiration, and you appreciate it. Thank you so much for following along. And I am excited for you to make, this is going to be your year. And I am excited that you're looking to make the changes that you need to make. Make sure that the changes that you are making are sustainable for you, changes that you are able to manage and continue to do, because when you try to get into something too restrictive, it gets hard to keep doing it. But if you haven't tried eating a plant-based diet, I highly recommend trying a plant-based diet. I have really changed a lot of what I thought about food or what I believed about food by eating this way. And it fits into my eating, what I need to eat or how I need to eat. And the topic for today's video here was once a binge eater, always a binge eater. And I was just thinking about food. Obviously, I think about food a decent bit, or diet and things like that. And I was thinking about, like things like cheat days and people falling off the wagon, or eating food that isn't on diet. And it got me thinking about how we're fighting this battle against this binge eating demon. And I don't think that it's the right demon. I think that we're not looking at it in the correct lens because of what society has taught us or what our past experiences have taught us. But what what I'm noticing the more I do this is that we all have different predispositions to certain characteristics. Some people are more trusting than other people. Some people are more guarded or defensive than others. Some people are more optimistic. Some people are more pessimistic. There's people like me. I feel like I'm gullible. If you tell me something, I'm gonna believe you at first. There's people that have addictive personalities. There's people that have strong willpower and people that have weak willpower. But then there's other characteristics you have, like the color of your hair, how good your eyes work, how well you can hear, the amount of sleep that you need each night. And so there's characteristics that are kind of mental characteristics, or maybe some things that we can change, but then there's characteristics about ourselves that we can't change. And one of the things that I feel like many of us do when we worry about binge eating, or we say that we have an eating disorder, or we are a binge eater, is that we are giving ourselves this disability, or we're saying we have this sort of inability to fix that binge eating problem. Um, and so we keep trying to change that, and it's instinctual a bit, if everything that you've decided to do has got you to this point and you don't like where you're at, then obviously changing everything will get you into a new position. And for some characteristics, you can do that. You can make changes, or people can go from being more trusting to less trusting, or more optimistic to less optimistic. And you can change those a little bit, but some of the characteristics can't change as much as we try to change them. And one of those characteristics, like the sleep, everybody has a certain amount of sleep they need. They might need 5 hours of sleep, or they might need 10 hours, but everybody has their own range. And what I feel like many of us that are saying that we binge eat, we have this binge eating disorder, it's because we have a predisposition to eat more food than another person. So one person may only need to eat 2 pounds or 3 pounds of food a day to be satisfied, whereas another person like me might need to eat 6 or 7 pounds of food to feel satisfied that day. And we we keep trying to change that characteristics of ourselves when we go on these diets. We try to change that amount of food that I eat characteristic, when what we need to do is we need to start changing the content of the food. So we blame the volume for our reason why we're overweight, or our inability to lose weight. We blame the volume, but we don't blame the content. Or if we do blame the content, when we go to make that change, when you say, okay, it's January 1st, today's the day I'm going to get started, you change the content of your food. And at the same time, many of us change the volume of food that we ate. And when you change the content and the volume, everything is different, and it becomes extremely hard to get your bearings. But if instead you just change the content and not the volume. So if you're used to eating 5 pounds of food, you still eat 5 pounds of food, but you change the calorie density of that food, then eventually you're going to realize that you're able to be satisfied. The thing that you were missing from your previous diet, that satiation, the going to bed full, the waking up to eating an abundance of food all day, you miss that. And your body has that natural disposition to eating certain amounts of food every day. And so every day you're underfeeding it. Over time, it becomes more and more difficult to keep underfeeding your system. And so what we have to do is realize that the volume of food that you need to eat in a day shouldn't change. It's like the number of times your heart beats in a day. You don't have any control over that. You're not regulating that. You're not you can increase and decrease it by going to the gym and things like that. But your overall, the number of times that your heart beats in a day, you don't sit there and say, I'm going to control the number of beats I do today. I'm only going to let my heart beat this many times. But we do that with diet, where we say, I'm only going to eat this much food. I'm only going to allow my food to get this much, or my body to get this much satisfaction or nutrients. And when we do that, we create this change in our diet and this calorie deficit that we can't sustain. And at the end of the day, if you're truly hungry, then anything should look as appealing as something else. At the end of the day, if you say I'm hungry, and your choice is between eating carrots and eating chocolate ice cream, if you're truly hungry, the carrots should look just as appealing to you as the chocolate ice cream. But if you're not truly that hungry, if you're just trying to give into a craving or have a snack, it's a different thing. And somebody did make a comment that they had said that they struggle with snacking and they crave non-compliant snacks. And it's always on their mind that they're thinking about these non-compliant snacks. And what I turn to with that kind of comment is, how much volume are you eating? Are you under eating? Is that why you're getting any type of craving? I noticed it a lot with soda when I was going through a phase here where I was trying to kick soda. And I realized that I was craving soda, but I don't know that I was actually craving soda. I think I was just thirsty, but our brains are these magnificent machines that when it gets the signal that says, hey, we need something to drink, it converts that into, hey, what can we get that creates the best dopamine response that this person's going to consume that satisfies the thirst craving? And your mind goes to something like soda or a power drink or something that's got a lot of sugar in it. When if soda's not even on the plate, like it is for me now, when I get thirsty, I don't think of going and having a soda. I think of drinking water, because that is the drink of choice for my diet. Or with snacking, I feel like if you think about the thing that you're craving, there's a characteristic about that item that has you craving it. It might be that it's your favorite food. It's possible that that's the factor that's got you craving it. But I feel like a lot of times it is, well, this is a low calorie snack that I could maybe convince myself to eat. And the longer I present myself with this low calorie snack or this not that bad for me snack, that eventually I can't get it out of my mind, and then you can't do anything but succumb to that craving. But again, if you're truly that hungry, if you're having a thought for a non-compliant snack, go eat a compliant snack. Maybe it's just that you're hungry and you haven't eaten enough. And if you eat that compliant snack, then see where that takes you. But if you are choosing between eating something that has a calorie density of 200 to 300 calories per pound, like a fruit, like if you get a craving for a snack and instead of going into the pantry, you stop and you grab a banana or an apple or an orange, that's going to be a lower calorie snack. It's going to be better for your body to have that type of snack than some processed food or some high calorie dense food. So I feel like for me, cravings are just an indicator that I'm hungry. And I've had to change what my mind goes to when I have that craving or when I sense that hunger. I missed a couple comments here. Our tiny anchor says that from the heaviest, you are 123 pounds down, which is amazing. According to your doctors, you still need to lose 161 pounds. Yes, that's an amazing amount of weight. That gets you real close to where I, started or going to. And it's just about being healthy. Like that's for me, like has been a big part of what's driven me past that first 150 pounds or past the 200-pound mark to get me to 235 pounds, is that I am creating a healthier version of myself. Even if I don't realize it today, the food that I'm eating today makes me healthier tomorrow. It makes me healthier 6 months from now, 10 months from now. And even if I don't achieve my goal weight as fast as I wanted to achieve it, I know that if I continue to eat this way, eventually I'll get to my goal weight. The Shrinking Shadow says that you've been vegan for 7 years, but you're turning to a more whole food, plant-based rather than the vegan processed foods. You're starting to go on walks at least 5 days a week. That's great. Get your activity up, kind of get you moving. I find that, I try to be more active in my day-to-day life, and that helps a ton as well. So yeah, eating this whole food plant-based diet, again, had I not decided to do it and started living the life, I wouldn't have believed that it works the way that it works. But if you've been able to go for 7 years without animal products, for me, that was a big thing, getting rid of the animal products. And that's something that I've been able to hold on to. That's truly the base of my diet, has been the veganism, I guess, aspect of it. But that added salt, oil, and sugar, it is crazy what a difference it'll make if you can get it out of your diet. If you can start to enjoy foods for how they really taste and what they really are, you'll start to see some major changes throughout the whole process. I know it can be daunting to eat plant-based, or to not, to think of a diet without any added salt, oil, or sugar. It just means that there might be one less ingredient in some of my recipes, but actually it probably means there's 5 more ingredients in my recipes, because what so many of these manufacturers get by with sugar and salt, you have to actually make foods taste good, you need a variety of things. Sonia says that they agree that they are a volume eater, and you're sitting here with a big plate of squash after your salad. Yes, volume eating for the win, guys. And I feel like I knew it before I even started this diet, that was my problem. That volume eating, that I always I was never satisfied with how much food I was eating. And even if I ate the highest calorie foods that were possibly available to me, that I could always eat a little bit more. And now, even if I do feel like I could eat a little bit more, it's like I'm going to eat one more potato that is very low calorie dense. I'm going to eat one more piece of fruit. I'm going to eat one more vegetable, or one more pound of broccoli, so it's been big for me. Shrinking Shadow says that eating higher nutrient foods keeps your body more satisfied. It's great because you can eat a lot of food but still lose the weight. Yes, that is something that I have noticed with this diet, is that I continue to lose weight while eating just a ridiculous volume of food, And when I first started this diet, fasting was going to be a big part of my thing. Like, I thought that I had figured it out through water fasting, that I would just lose weight. I would go from diet to diet, doing water fast in between each diet. And I realize now that, there's so many guys out there that are continuing to try to do the fasting for weight loss. And I think fasting is a great jumping point. It's a great way to kickstart your weight loss, but it's not the solution to your weight loss. And, and so I think about all the people out there that are trying so hard to lose weight, and they're eating such low volumes of food, and they're struggling every day, and they're waking up frustrated every morning. And I think of how that was me. So many times that was me, where I would be frustrated that I couldn't eat any more for the day because I already hit my calorie count, and that I was going to have to just go without. And now I don't have to do that. I can eat. I can make myself, mostly what I eat later are like oranges right now, because oranges are in season. But I don't ever feel guilty. If I go home and I eat 6 or 10 oranges tonight, I'm not going to feel guilty about eating 6 or 10 oranges. But if I went home and had 6 or 10 fun-sized candy bars, I would feel awful. And so it's completely different. Carrie here says, completely cutting the unhealthy snacks out of our lives is important. If you try and eat junk in moderation, you're constantly having that internal battle with yourself, is why you had to cut out coffee. Yes. And yeah, it's that myth of moderation, the myth that we can eat less food, the moderate change and the moderate consumption, but the myth of moderate consumption, that if you start, eating a little bit of something unhealthy is okay. Like, that is that that's where that really shines through. Like, you wouldn't tell an alcoholic a little bit of alcohol is okay. You know, there might be people that feel that way or they think that's the way it works, but in reality, for somebody who's an alcoholic, it doesn't work that way. And um it's that way with these processed foods for me, you know, like it's trying to fit them in a little bit, you know, it's like saying, you know, like that food, it only causes a little bit of cancer. It only causes a little bit of heart disease. It only causes stroke a little bit. Um, yeah, orange slice, not the candy orange slices. No, Anthony, the actual orange slices that come from an orange. Um, but the yeah, the myth of moderation is something that I have uh been so happy to learn more about and to be fighting against that and realizing that in some ways abstinence makes a difference for the the process. You know, like I don't have to fight whether or not I'm going to eat food out at a restaurant because I made that decision one time. I don't have to do it again. Our Tiny Acre says, yes, snacks are tough. Told your husband if he could eat them where you couldn't see them, it would help you out a lot. Yes, that's something that we've talked about. I talked about maybe a lot more early on with this, but you know, when you're in a house with other people that aren't eating this way, it does become difficult because the saying, if it's in your house, it's in your mouth, is absolutely true. It's very tough, you know, unless you can put something between you and that snack, you know, like wherever your husband has those snacks, make sure that he's holding an orange there or a potato there next to you so that you have to go past the potato or past the orange to get to the snack food. But yeah, especially if you're just getting started. Um, this, I guess, is some of the advice I'd given to people because there's many people out there that try to eat this way or try to change their diet while their spouse is still eating the old way or doesn't believe there's anything wrong with the way they're eating. So you have to try to figure out how to live this way or be in the environment. And some of the things that I had uh, heard before, or one of the things I thought was interesting was that if, you know, for instance, my arm, I injured my arm. I got injured to the point where I had to have surgery, and now I can't do things with my right arm. So I am a little bit handicapped at home. And when I went to Carrier when this happened and we said, hey, you know, I have to have surgery, you know, Carrie very much, just like many of our spouses would do, will say, I'll do anything to help. Whatever you need me to do, I'll take care of it. You need me to help you with getting food prepped or getting clothing together or whatever you need, I'm willing to help. When it's something that's obvious, that's easy, you know, like having an injury that requires surgery, our family members are very easy to jump up and say, yes, I'd love to help. But if you went to your spouse and said, hey, I have this eating problem, I have this food problem, and for the next 2 weeks, for the next 3 weeks, I need you to help me with this food problem. I'm now in a wheelchair and I need to come up the steps into the house. I need you to help me build a ramp to get into the house. They would say, absolutely, I would love to help you with that. If you do the same thing with food and say, hey, for the next 2 or 3 weeks, I have a food injury. I have this handicap. I have a food handicap. I need you to take the food and just get it out of the environment for a couple weeks. Put it in a different pantry, put it in a different closet. Don't eat it around me. Just help me out for a couple weeks, because I really feel that if you can get some days chained together, it becomes easier. Like when I was going back and forth with eating processed junk food with this diet, that first week, the first few days is always the toughest because you're not that far away from your last break. And so you wouldn't really be losing out on much if you break the chain again. And so he, if you can, if you can just get a chain of days together where you can start to, so that you can start to build on your own confidence, you know, because at first it's tough and it's difficult and the temptations are there. But after you've been on this diet for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, it starts to get easier, and it starts to, you can build off that momentum, and you can say, I've been on plan, on diet for 2 weeks. Nothing's going to knock me off of it that easy. And go on. You say, he knows he shouldn't eat them. He says so every time he buys them. Yes. It's tough, like, and each of us have our own level of where we feel we are health wise, or what we want to be at health wise, and our willingness to change. But if you can convince them to assist you in any way, do your best with it. And I know I am very fortunate that I have Carrie that's eating this way, and actually, she probably the negative influence on me more than me being a negative influence on her in some respect, or day to day. There's been days where I was a bad influence, but I've been doing pretty good right now. So yeah, once a binge eater, always a binge eater. I'm always going to be a binge eater. That I know that about myself. I'm not scared of it. I just know that I need to be smarter about the foods that I binge on. I ate an entire pound of broccoli today. I don't feel bad about binging on an entire pound of broccoli. You say he eats mostly like you, except for eating out or with the snacking. Yeah, it's tough, and it's just, again, it's how it's for me right now. I'm in this weight loss mode, and so for me, everything is about losing weight and making the choices. Every choice I make needs to be a choice that is pushing me towards weight loss and not away from weight loss. Cindy here, or Anthony asks here, or I guess I missed Carrie. Carrie says, thanks, Fa. Yes, I am calling her out. She's the one that's got the junk food all around. And I'm the one having to fight her back. Stay away from me with those, what were they? Freeze-dried Skittles. Don't need them. Anthony asks, how are our kids doing with a plant-based diet? They do pretty good. They eat more processed foods than we like, but we've been pushing some meals on them. They enjoyed the beet burgers last night. We got a few of them to try the beet burgers, and they actually ate them more than we expected. It's a slow process with the kids, and it's hard too, because they also have their own levels of food that they need to eat. And so I know one of my kids is very similar to me and Carrie, where they probably need the 3, 4, 5 pounds of food in a day, or as they get older to an adult, that's going to be what they need. But then our other kids might only need 2 or 3 pounds of food to be satisfied. So everybody has to eat to their own level. And so it's tough to get a kid who doesn't need to eat a lot of food, trying to force them to eat food that they don't want to eat is difficult. But they do well. They do better than I expected them to do. And they are as vegan as it comes as far as kids go. Like, they will not even try something if somebody's not certain that it's vegan. So that's interesting too. Cindy here says that your husband is vegetarian and he eats fish and cheese at times, but it's mostly processed food because he does not like to cook. You eat whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar, healthy vegan. It's important to find your tribe for support. Yes, and that's something that I love this group, because I hardly even know another vegan in my life. Like my little brother eats a vegan diet for health, not really for vegan reasons. And my wife eats a diet similar to me, but outside of that, I don't know anybody. Like, I had heard of one person who was eating a whole food, plant-based, no oil diet. Didn't really know them, just knew that they had done that for a while to lose weight. So it is important to find some people that are eating this way. It's really made a difference. Like the last year here has truly helped. Like I went on to Chef AJ's show back in May. I think I went on again in August or October was the second time I was on her show. And that's where a lot of you guys have come from that are eating whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free, or SOFAs free, the Chef AJ kind of what she promotes. And it's awesome. Oh, hey, yeah, just give me a couple minutes. Sorry. The um it's awesome to have that. Sorry, I kind of got surprised here and I was getting kind of long anyways. So I am going to get out of here. I appreciate everybody for checking out the video and my channel. I appreciate all of your support. If you have not subscribed to the channel, make sure you get subscribed to the channel. If you've not clicked on the bell icon so you get alerted when I go live or post new videos, make sure that you click on that bell icon. And if you have not commented down below and liked the video, I'd appreciate that as well. And if you have not started your diet yet, get started right now, guys. There's nothing more important than your health and your overall well-being. Nobody ever gets to their goals and wishes they would have waited. So get started, guys. I will talk to you all tomorrow.